Happy Diwali to you all. I'm happy to have been invited back, so thank you for that. That was nice of you. Before we jump in, I think it's worth just taking a second to reflect, what am I doing here? So my friend Swati is somewhere around here, and she's one of the organizers of this. So before I start, thank you so much, Swati, for everything you've done. This is awesome. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you, Swati. So actually, Swati was part of this committee last year too, and she came up to me and she said, hey, would you mind giving a little talk during the next Diwali? We have some time that's free. Would you mind just giving a little talk? She knew that I had been to India before, so I guess she wanted me to tell a few stories or something. So she said, can you just give a little talk? So initially I declined. No, I think you can find someone better. No, I think you can find someone more interesting. But we ended that conversation off by me saying, if you really can't find anything else, I'll do it. I'll give a little talk. A few days go by, and then there's the Diwali email blast, and I get it just like 300 other people, and it says, Diwali party, food, dancing, singing, and a stand-up comic. And I was like, oh good, she found someone. I met her a little bit later that day, and she asked me if I was ready. I said, ready for what? But I guess what that really means is I owe Swati and Maxim the entirety of my career. And I have been so loyal that I have never done an event that is not right here on the stage. So, as I said, I spent some time in India before. During my undergraduate, I studied for a semester in Bangalore. And I had an amazing time, just a normal student, normal classes, all of that. But I hadn't been back since then. That was 7 years ago. But because I needed some more material for today, I actually went back to India at the beginning of this year. And it was just so funny. One of my friends, his cousin, was getting married at approximately the same time that I was scheduled to go to Empire. So I checked my schedule, I checked the flight, I checked PTO, I checked with my team in Gandhinagar that I work with, and everything just sort of worked out. So the next thing I knew, I was going to my first Indian wedding, never been to Gujarat, first time to Gujarat, and I was going to India. Before I dive into what I did in India, I just want to say that all these stories that I'm telling you, these really did happen. I'm not just making this up for a laugh or anything like that. These are true stories. So anyway, so I arrived in Ahmedabad 3 a.m. Actually, I was quickly corrected. Ahmedabad is what I was told. Very quickly. I'm always messing up the name. Bangalore. So I get in, and my friend, he's very nice. He picks me up at the airport very early, and he takes me back to his family home, and I meet his parents and his family and everything like that. And I shower and get ready, but we just decide we're going to hit the ground running. I don't have much time in India, so let's go. So I asked him, what does a person do in the morning in a lovely day like today in Ahmedabad? And he says, oh, people walk along Kankaria Lake. It's a great place to walk around. So, all right, let's go. So we go outside, and immediately I walk outside the house, and I immediately start looking for a rickshaw. So I'm looking this way, and behind me I hear a motorcycle sound. I can hear it's coming towards me, so I turn to get out of the way, and I see that it's my friend. He has his motorcycle. And I said, whoa, where did you get that? And he says, that's the family motorcycle, hop on. So that was a new experience for me. I have ridden a motorcycle once in my life, and I was the driver. I've never been a passenger, nor ever had a passenger. So the only thing I knew about motorcycles in India was what I've seen in Bollywood movies. So what does that mean? So the way I remember it from the movies is like, you're driving this motorcycle, you're going through Mumbai, and there's this cute girl behind you, and she's holding on to you as you go through traffic. Or maybe, there's this cute girl driving, you're holding on to her, something like that, something romantic, something. And that was not my experience on the bike. So we get on the bike, and obviously I'm very nervous, I'm scared. So my friend, he tells me, oh, once you become a good passenger, you'll just be able to balance. There's like a little bar on the side of the wheel, just hold on to that. But I was not a good passenger, and I was very scared, and things did get a little more intimate than he probably expected. So we walk around Concarnegie Lake, it's amazing. My friend was right, it was a great place to spend the morning. So we do that, and we come back to his family home, and the festivities are getting ready for this wedding. Next morning, it's day one of the wedding. So for some of you that know about Indian weddings, that sentence sounds very normal. But for me, I have never said the sentence, day one of the wedding. So I, of course, didn't know that existed. And I think as I became accustomed to it, I thought that was pretty cool. I mean that, here it is, it's an important time in a loved one's life, and you can spend, 3 days with them, chatting, eating, having fun. I thought that was amazing. And I really give a lot of, I feel very privileged that my friend invited me into his family's home for something that was so special as this. I'll always feel very grateful to him for allowing me to do that. For instance, first day of the wedding, there's this ceremony called haldi. It's a turmeric ceremony. I think it's called piti in Gujarati. Anyway, so the ceremony's going on, and I kind of whisper to my friend, I say, hey, I thought Indian weddings were big. I don't see that many people here, maybe 60 people. And he said, that's because today is just about the bride's family. And I said, well, what about me? He said, well, your family. And that really meant a lot to me, and it was quite the privilege for me to go and be with him and see this wedding. But my friend, he actually was part of the wedding and had important things to do. So after that, the haldi ceremony, he left to go do something, and he left me in a place that I feel very comfortable at, and that is the buffet. So I go to the buffet, and I have to admit, I don't really know that much about Gujarati food. In preparation for this trip, I did go to one of the Gujarati restaurants around here, tried to learn about it, but I really don't know that much. So this nice guy, he comes up, and he can see that I'm confused. I don't know what I'm doing. So he says, would you like me to give you a tour of the buffet? Let me give you a tour of the buffet. So I said, okay, sure, that would be great. So he goes, okay, well, we're going to start over here. There's dokla, there's undiyu, there's kachori, there's paneer curry, and then he gets to something that, to me, looks like fried roti of some type, and he says, we call this puri. And I was like, oh, cool, pani puri? And he was like, no. And I was like, yeah, it's like pani puri, just no pani. So I think I'm being kind of funny, but he just looks me straight in the eye and he's like, no. So we have this on meet later that day, and it's a lovely day one of the wedding. Day two comes along. We wake up, and I ask my friend, what's the schedule look like today? I don't know about Indian weddings, so I have no idea. So he goes, well, we got breakfast, then we have the ceremony, then we have lunch, and then we have a vidai in the evening. Great, sounds like a lovely day. I said, what time does the ceremony start? He's like, 12 maybe. Okay. How long is it? He's like, 3 or 4 hours? And I'm like, 3 or 4 hours? Wait a minute. So it's the ceremony at noon, that's 3 or 4 hours, and then lunch. So I know you guys are all thinking, wow, this guy only cares about food. That's only partially true. So this goes back and forth a few times until I realized something amazing. In Indian weddings, you can eat while this ceremony is happening. That's amazing. So I only know, American weddings. So in American weddings, you go, you sit down, and you sit through this kind of long and quite possibly boring procession, and then you go to the reception and the food. It's fun after that. It's kind of like the American mindset is like, we're gonna give you a party, like we're gonna give you food, but you gotta earn it. But here, the people, the bride and the groom, they give a gift to the guests. And that is the gift of allowing the party to start without them. That's amazing. But my Americanness got in the way. I just couldn't imagine eating my 5th plate of paneer curry while these people are having the most important moment of their life. So I went and I sat in the 2nd row and watched the ceremony. And it was very interesting because I'm trying to focus on this ceremony, and behind me is kids screaming and cell phones going off and all these noise, the clanking of the silverware on the plates, and I was like, I can't believe these people are getting married right now. And the guy from yesterday, Pani Puri guy, he comes up to me and he says, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm watching the ceremony." And he's like, "Why?" So I'm like, "Isn't that what you do?" And he's like, "Let's go to the buffet. Don't you like Indian food?" It's like, "Yeah, I like Indian food." And he's like, "Come on, let's go." So we go to the buffet, and I'm enjoying my some food, and I'd love to just get a plate of food and just start talking to people. Right? I'm in a new country, new people, new language, everything. It'd be great if I can just start chatting. But I thought that was a little presumptuous of me to just walk up to a person I don't know. I don't know if they speak English. I don't know if they're comfortable speaking English, and then just start a conversation in English. There's something not right about that. It seems rude. So I didn't do that. Now, obviously, ideally, I would go up to people and start talking to them in Gujarati. But my Gujarati ends after Kemcho, Majama, something che. So that didn't really work out. But luckily, a few nice people did come and say hi to me. But I'm going to pause right there. Before I tell you about this, I want to rewind back to when I was still in the U.S. So I was going out with a couple colleagues that are in this room for lunch, and we were all talking, what are we doing, whatever, and I said I was going to India to go to a wedding, my first Indian wedding. And these friends in this room said, "You're going to come back engaged." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Indian weddings are the only place better than Shadi.com to find a girl." So I said, no way, I'm going there to see my friends, to see my first Indian wedding. I'm going to see my Gandhinagar team for Maxim. That's what I'm going for this trip for. And they said, "You are going to come back with a girl." So, trip's over, I've reflected on this. I don't think their prediction was correct. I don't think I kindled any romance. I don't think I've come back. I don't think I'm engaged. There's a lot of Gujarati going along. I don't know what I really don't think so. But what's funny is I tell the stories about what happened over there, and these same friends interpret something romantic in the story. And it happened to me, and I'm like, no, it wasn't romantic at all. And they say, they hear the same story that I'm telling, and they hear it in a romantic way. So what I've decided to do today is I'm going to tell you guys exactly what happened. And then I want you to tell me later, am I right that, this is just I did make Indian friends, and one of them was a girl, but that doesn't mean anything. So I want to tell you guys what happened, and then I want you guys to tell me later, is my interpretation correct? That it's just a hospitable family? and nice people. Indians are very hospitable people. Or is this somehow romantic and I'm taking it? So I think that sounds fair. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Unpause. I'm back in the situation. We're next to the buffet, and three lovely people, approximately my age, come and say hi. And they walk up to me and they say, "You look lonely. Do you want to go sit down with us and eat?" And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds really nice." So we start talking, and it's a brother and a sister, and then the brother's wife. So it's two girls and a guy, sister, wife of the brother. So we're all chatting, and super nice people, super hospitable. They're asking me about, what I do, and I tell them I work at this great company called Maxim. And we're talking, he's a software engineer, so is his wife. The girl, who's the girl in question, she is a recent grad. She's nice, she's friendly, she's cute, she's cool. Sure, but doesn't mean anything. So we chat for a little bit, and then her their parents come and they say hi to their children, and they see me there. So they say, through their kids as translator, they start asking me questions. They say, what's your name? Are you having a good time? What do you do? They asked if I was married. Okay. And did I enjoy the food? Everything. So I said, yeah, everything's good. Sab theek hai, everything's so good. And then she said, oh, you speak Hindi? Gujarati? And I was like, no. And it just reminded me how, no matter where I go, I'm disappointing people with how poor my language skills are. Hindi, Gujarati, Kannada, Telugu, I don't know anything. So we start chatting, and very nice people, everything. So after we're chatting with the parents for a little bit, they say, we have to go. So I'm like, okay, bye. And they say, we actually have another wedding to get to right now. And I was like, another wedding right now? And they're like, yeah, it's wedding season. And I was like, what's wedding season? And they're like, that's the time where there's a lot of weddings. So I was like, okay. And then they said, do you want to go with us? I was like, go with you? So I think about it for a second, and I'm like, no, I'm here for my friend. I want to spend time with him. I'm here for this wedding. And so I told the family, I said, thank you, but no, I want to be here with my friend. But plus, I don't feel comfortable just like crashing a wedding. That doesn't seem right. And they said, crashing a wedding? There's going to be 1,200 people here. She said, they're not even going to notice you. And then she paused and she's like, well, they'll notice. So I declined, and this girl told her mom, she said, he doesn't want to go, or he can't go, or something. And the mom looked a little concerned. So she said something in Gujarati, something, and then she said, my mom wants to invite you over for tea. So I don't know what that means. So I said, hey, I'm really busy. I'm here for my friend. I don't really know the schedules of Indian weddings, so I don't really know. But we exchanged, what's it called? WhatsApp numbers. It's like my fourth friend or connection or whatever it is. And they left. So, okay, great. They said, if you have time, give us a call. Okay. So they go away. I enjoy the rest of the evening with my friend. It's a lovely evening. So day 3 starts. I asked my buddy, we wake up, I said, what's on the agenda for today? And he says, actually, we don't have any social plans until 7:30 p.m., and then there's a reception. And I'm like, oh, cool. And this is my last day. The next day, I got to go to Nagar to Maxim. So this is my big day to see Ahmedabad. So my friend, he's got a lot of things to do. He's tired, and he actually is an important person in this wedding, not like me. So I just say, hey, I'm gonna go explore this town. This is my day. So I go out, and it was amazing. I took a few rickshaws. I saw some Mughal architecture. I saw a beautifully carved Jain temple. Hindu shrine. I had Gujarati thali. I walked along the Sabarmati River boardwalk. Yeah. There's like flower gardens on it now. It's amazing. So it's like 5:30 now. I'm looking at the time. It's like I got to start heading back. So I realized, okay, I technically do have a little time. I told them I'd be back by 6:30. So I sent this girl a message and said, hey, just want to let you know that I don't really have much time, but if you happen to be free. So she sends me her address, and it's literally right next to my friend's house, like 15-minute walk. So I was like, okay. So I say, sure, I'll go for a few minutes. And so I have the address, she sends me some directions, and it ends, with, when you see the kids playing cricket, turn right. It's amazing. So I go there, and I say hi, and so it's, I find her place, and it's her mom, me, and this girl. And we're all chatting, the mom's asking, what do I do? I think she's just being very curious about someone from across the world. She talks about how her daughter is, not everyone agrees with my interpretation. She seems, so we're all talking and everything, and, I gotta be back by 6:30. I told my friend I'd be back at 6:30, so we're chatting, everything's nice. Again, I didn't feel that anything was romantic about the situation. Maybe because I have never flirted with a girl when her mom was 3 feet away. So I look at my watch. Hey, I gotta go. It's getting close to that time. I told my friend I'd be back, and she says, "Oh, don't worry about it. We're always late." I was like, well, I told them that I was going to be back at this time, so I want to be back. And she's like, you were drinking tea. And I'm like, is that a good reason to be? She's like, yeah. But again, my Americanness gets in the way, and I say, look, I got to go. I told my friend I'd be back at 6:30. I'm going to be back at 6:30. So they don't get it, obviously. They walk me downstairs, and we say our goodbyes. And as I'm walking away, this girl, she kind of runs up after me, and she says, we have a motorbike. Do you want me to drive you home? So I'm thinking not to, degrade the experience that I had with my lovely friend, but maybe this might be a little more Bollywood, a little more romantic. So I say, okay, sure. So she says, I'll go get the bike. So she runs to go get the bike, and she's walking back with the bike, and I'm walking towards her. And as me, the mom, and her all kind of meet in the middle, the mom gets on the bike. She says, all right, grab on. That's it. Thank you, everyone.